These days, Kansas City has gotten quite a reputation as an arts town.
Visual arts in particular, but also as a music town.
And I would argue it's a theater hotspot as well, with more equity houses than lots of larger cities.
The newest of them is Spinning Tree Theater, formed 5 years ago by a pair of musical theater veterans who decided to put their passion and producing to the test.
5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3.
We've just done that, so we're still in our bevel.
And you have two.
We always tell the actors, on the first day of rehearsal, we will contradict each other, just like parents. Don't try to come to one of us. If Michael says no, I'm not going to say yes. Or if I do, follow Michael.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bum, bum.
Some of the actors in 9, I think only 5 of the 13 have we worked with before.
True. Yeah.
So we knew them, but we're also challenging them in roles that our audiences wouldn't necessarily expect to see them in.
That's true.
In many ways, 9 perfectly encapsulates the Spinning Tree approach. It's a well-crafted, well-regarded musical that's seldom performed here, chock full of challenging roles for local actors to stretch their range, including jazz singer Angela Hagenbach, making her musical theater stage debut.
It's a beautiful show. It won the Tony Award. I think we also like that it's all women and one man. As we all know, there are not enough female roles in the theater. So it was really kind of nice to do that. And that was a great experience, and we worked with such beautiful talent.
Of course, running a small theater company brings with it plenty of custodial and middle management tasks that also have to be done before the crowd comes streaming in, if it actually does.
Yeah, I don't think you create a theater company and think no one's going to come. You just decide that people are going to come. And then when some nights they don't, or you have a very small amount of people coming, it's very humbling.
The good news? More and more seats are being filled. And Spinning Tree's seasons, which started with 3 shows, are now up to 4. The decision to try this in Kansas City, Parkhurst's hometown, rather than Cincinnati, Grayman's, appears to be a wise one.
We have discerning, intelligent patrons who demand that we bring shows in that they haven't seen before.
And then when we do a show that people have known, like West Side Story or Fiddler, doing it in a new way so that they come out sort of saying, I get the story, almost in a way for the first time. We've gotten that from people, which is so cool too. I've seen the show so many times, but I've never really seen this show, and that's also rewarding to us. We're always doing something that we're passionate about, that we love, and it's our baby. So yes, there are of course days when we're like saying, what are we doing running a nonprofit theater company? But most of the time we're basically saying, this is what we're meant to do.
It may not look like it, but this is an historic moment for Spinning Tree Theater. For the first time in 5.5 years, its 2 co-founders are hunkered down with an artistic committee composed of notable folks from all walks of Kansas City theater.
And so you guys are willing to take on classics and approach them.
We're asking them to help us continue to find Spinning Tree Theater's place in Kansas City. Also, in a new political climate, we want to look at what this particular company can do.
You have to know that you're an instrument that can...
And it never stops.
Never stops if you're a playwright.
They're also weighing in on the best ways to handle a small scholarship for theater studies the company plans to award at the end of the season. It's an idea spurred in large part by the unexpected success of last year's youth musical, 13.
What's different about Spinning Tree is they give you full liberty to try anything that you want to try.
I find shelter from the rain in a darkened doorway.
Vanessa Severo has acted twice for the company. Now she's directing their second production of Shipwrecked, recounting an Englishman's adventures in the 19th century, with less regard for the truth than the thrill of the tale.
You have one actor that's telling the story, and then you have 2 other actors, a man and a woman, and each play 20 roles.
I'm a sailor!
Wonderful. And so you're going to see them go through this whole story. It's a marathon. They don't leave the stage. They're always going. I kind of want to see it, a lot of
We thought, whose production of Shipwrecked would we want to go see? And we went through the list locally, and we thought Vanessa. So we were thrilled when she said she'd like to do it.
That's a good boy. Just because I'm spending time with someone new doesn't mean I don't care about you anymore. We can all be friends.
It's kind of part vaudeville, part radio play. There's no real scenery per se. The actors make all of the sound effects themselves.
Shipwreck is, to me, what theater's all about. Getting lost for an hour or two in the theater and just imagination going crazy.
Shipwrecked and the show that follows it, Stephen Sondheim's Assassins, will both run at the Just Off-Broadway Theater. But that doesn't mean that settling into just one place is part of the plan just yet.
You know, it's still the two of us, although we're kind of growing here and there, but it's still the two of us. And so right now this is manageable with the renting of spaces.
Don't nobody know my troubles but God.
Every time someone says, oh, you're working with Spinning Tree, God, I just love those guys, everybody, because they're genuine, you know? And that comes through in your artwork.
5, 6, 7, 8, up, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2.
We had our career dreams come true as performers, and then some. So I think that helps, that there isn't a sort of bitterness of, we don't approach actors like, oh, I could be doing that better than you, or I wish I had that experience. It's all, we respect our history in theater as performers, and now we are continuing to learn how to be on the other side of the table as producers and directors.